Number 51. The origin and destiny of human being. Number 1. Physical life. Life carriers can organize the material forms or physical patterns of living beings, but the spirit provides the initial spark of life and bestows the endowment of mind. Even the living forms of experimental life, which the life carriers organize on their Selfington worlds, are always devoid of reproductive powers. When the life formulas and the vital patterns are correctly assembled and properly organized, the presence of a life carrier is sufficient to initiate life, but all such living organisms are lacking in two essential attributes, that is, mind endowments and reproductive powers. Animal mind and human mind are gifts of the local universe Mother Spirit, functioning through the 7 adjutant mind spirits, while creature ability to reproduce is the specific and personal impartation of the universal spirit to the ancestral life plasm inaugurated by the life carriers. When the life carriers have designed the patterns of life, after they have organized the energy systems, there must occur an additional phenomenon. The breath of life must be imparted to these lifeless forms. The sons of God can construct the forms of life, but it is the Spirit of God who really contributes the vital spark. And when the life thus imparted is spent, then again the remaining material body becomes dead matter. When the bestowed life is exhausted, the body returns to the bosom of the material universe from which it was borrowed by the life carriers to serve as a transient beaker for that life endowment which they conveyed to such a visible association of energy matter. The life bestowed upon plants and animals by the life carriers does not return to the life carriers upon the death of plant or animal. The departing life of such living being possesses neither identity nor personality. It does not individually survive death. During its existence and the time of its sojourn in the body of matter, it has undergone a change. It has undergone energy evolution and survives only as a part of the cosmic forces of the universe. It does not survive as individual life. The survival of mortal creature is wholly predicated on the evolvement of an immortal soul within the mortal mind. Number 2, bestowal of mind. The religion of the cosmic mind and the ministry of the adjutant mind spirits evolve a suitable physical tabernacles for the evolving human being. Likewise, does the Morontia mind initialize the Morontia form of all mortal survivors. As the mortal body is personal and characteristic for every human being, so will the Morontia form be highly individual and adequately characteristic of the creative mind which dominates it. No two Morontia forms are any more alike than any two human bodies. The Morontia power supervisor, sponsor, and the attending seraphim provide the undifferentiated Morontia material wherewith the Morontia life can begin to work. And after the Morontia life, it will be found that spirit forms are equally diverse, personal, and characteristic of their respective spirit-mind indwellers. The adjusters continue to come as in former evolutionary eras, and as the epoch passes, these mortals are increasingly able to commune with the indwelling father fragment. During the embryonic and pre-spiritual stages of development, the adjutant mind spirits are still functioning. The Holy Spirits and the ministry of angels are even more effective as the successive epochs of settled life are experienced. In the first stage of life and light, The advanced mortals seem to experience considerable conscious contact with the spirit presence of the master spirit of super-universe jurisdictions, while the philosophy of such a world is focused upon the attempt to comprehend the new revelation of God the Supreme. More than one half of the human inhabitants on planets of this advanced status experience translation to the Morontia state from among the living. Even so, all the things are passing away. Behold, all things are becoming new. Number 3. Personality. The personality of mortal man is neither body, mind, nor spirit. Neither is it the soul. Personality is the one changeless reality in an otherwise ever-changing creature experience, and it unifies all other associated factors of the individuality. The personality is the unique bestower which the Universal Father makes upon the living and associated energies of matter, mind, and spirit, and which survives with the survival of the Morontia soul. God, the Universal Father, is the personality of the first source and center, and as such maintains personal relation of infinite control of all coordinate and subordinate sources and centers. The potential personality of an evolutionary mortal beings of any other mortal beings is centered in the personality of the Universal Father. Human personality is the time-space image shadow cast by the divine creator personality, and no actuality can ever be adequately comprehended by an examination of its shadow. Shadows should be interpreted in terms of the true substance. Number 4. Spirit. The divine spirit that indwells the mind of man, the thought adjuster. This immortal spirit is pre-personal, not a personality, though destined to become a part of personality of the surviving mortal creature. When you are through down here, when your course has been run in temporary form on earth, when your trial trip in the flesh is finished, when the dust that composes the mortal tabernacles return to the earth whence it came, then it is revealed the indwelling spirit shall return to God who gave it. Their sojourns with each mortal beings of this planet of fragment of God, a part and parcel of divinity. It is not that yours by right of possession, but it is designedly intended to be one with you if you survive the mortal existence. It is literally true. In all your afflictions he is afflicted. In all your triumphs he triumphs in and with you. His pre-personal divine spirit is a real part of you. The Universal Father realizes in the fullness of the divine consciousness all the individual experience of the progressive struggles of the expanding minds and the ascending spirits of every entity, being, and personality of the whole evolutionary creation of time and space. And all this is literally true, for in Him we all live and move and have our beings. Number 5. Soul. The soul of man is an experimental acquirement. As a mortal creature chooses to do the will of the Father in heaven, so the indwelling spirit becomes the father of a new reality in human experience. The mortal and material mind is the mother of the same emerging reality. The substance of this new reality is neither material nor spiritual. It is Morontia. This is the emerging and immortal soul which is destined to survive mortal death and begin the paradise ascension. In the inner experience of man, mind is joined to matter. Such material-linked minds cannot survive mortal deaths. The technique of survival is embraced in those adjustment of the human will and those transformation in the mortal mind, whereby such a God-conscious intellect gradually becomes spirit-taught and eventually spirit-led. This evolution of the human mind from matter association to spirit union result in the transmutation of the potential spirit phases of the mortal mind into Morontia realities of immortal soul. Mortal mind, subservient to matter, is destined to become increasingly material and consequently to suffer eventually personality extinction. Mind yielded to spirit is destined to become increasingly spiritual and ultimately to achieve oneness with the surviving and guiding divine spirit, and in this way to attain survival and eternity of personality existence.